Like, and that's people underestimate you, and because you're not the hugest pro out there, but
Mhm.
you're in the top five, like pretty much
Yeah.
every show. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord, and we have a rising star in the IFBB Pro League, Stanimal. Man, appreciate you coming on and joining us on the podcast. It's a pleasure, and man, we got a lot to talk about, but I'll just let you kind of introduce yourself.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and appreciate the opportunity to be there.
Awesome. Awesome. So you're back home now. You were in Vancouver. Everyone knows what happened there. And then you did the Chicago Pro very recently. And so you kind of, we'll talk about it. We're going to jump into all those, the meat there. But I just want to go first kind of into your history and tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started. And I know it was in men's physique, then you went to classic and then open. So just kind of give us a quick recap of your journey to where you, how you got
All
to
right.
where you are now.
Quick recap. So 2006. So I always played sports growing up. In 2006, I just didn't have enough time anymore to like keep up between school, side job, and all that stuff. So that's when I started lifting weight because I wanted, I want to keep being active. And I started lifting weight a little bit before that, but more like for basketball because the big difference between European basketball and the US, the NBA, which was my dream before, was the size of the guys. So they were a little more muscular. So that's a little bit how I got into lifting weights. And then once I stopped playing basketball, the only reason for me the goal for me in lifting weight was to shape my body like in a more aesthetic way. And so that's when I started stumbling upon bodybuilding, how to do it, how to lift weight, how to eat, and all the good stuff. Fast forward 2013, Men's Physique came out around 2011, and the first Olympia was 2013. Pictures came out in magazines. I was at the gym getting, ready for, I was getting ready for my first show. No, I wasn't getting ready I was just leaning out for summer. And a lot of people were sort of saying like, oh, you got that look those guys have on the magazine. Why don't you give it a shot? So I did Muscle Mania, got I actually did before Men's Physique. It
WrestleMania.
was Fitness Mall. Did
Yeah, I
Muscle
did
Mania.
WrestleMania
Yeah,
too
yeah.
back in the day. Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Oh, that's
Luzuik.
good.
Luzuik is who you probably were dealing with back then. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I won the fitness model division. I got third in men's physique, and then then I was graduating from college. So I decided to celebrate by coming to the US for 5-6 weeks. That was end of 2013. Then I did another Musclemania show in Vegas, and then my first NPC show in LA Muscle Contest Iron Game. And then I met the company, like a guy who was launching his company, supplement company, and he wanted to sponsor me to do the Arnold Classic 2014 in
Yep.
men's physique. So he he paid the flights for me, he paid my hotel, and he paid a coach to train me. So it was the first time I ever had a coach to do this. And still natural, then turned pro natural men's physique. But it
Okay.
was like, just to put things in perspective, it was a very different, the
Time.
division was very
Yeah.
different.
Yes. Yeah.
So then I competed in men's physique for 2-3 years, 2014, 15, and 16 came out the classic physique, the new division. And I was excited about that. I had always had pretty good legs, and I want to do a little more on stage than just stand front and back. So I was like, let's give it a shot, and did my first show, San Antonio, Texas. I got 6 or 7, I believe, and then I decided to do another show. I think 2-3 weeks later in San Diego, where I got second place, and that was pretty interesting because that show actually I was in the last call out because I think they overlooked me, and then they brought me back third, second, first, and I was second
Oh,
place.
that's funny.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
a good.
It's like, wait a minute. Look at that guy. What happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that was fun, I came all the way back. So that's why I always tell people like never give up, just once you get your shot, give it all, and let the judges do their thing. And I was lucky that the judges were actually taking this seriously, and they actually gave me a fair shot, and they brought me all the way back to second place. So that
That's
was like
amazing.
the experience. Yeah. That was 2016. So then I competed a few times classic physique toward between 2016, the end of 2016 and 2017. Toward the end of 2017, I won the San Marino Pro. just after getting third at the Legion. That was the Ferrino Legacy back then, right behind what's his name, Robert Teams, and
Okay.
I forgot who else. So maybe I got second. I got third, I believe. I forgot who else was second. But anyway, then right after that, I jumped into the San Marino Pro in Italy, won that, and qualified for the Olympia. So I did my first Olympia in 2018, but I had almost a whole year to prep for that. So I had a little bit of size then. I started working with Aceto back then.
Yeah.
And I was training with Sean. And Sean was like, look at what you can do coaching yourself. So imagine if you actually had someone that knew that had experience in the area. So he connected us, and we did the Olympia 2018, got the 13th place, I believe, right behind Danny Hester, who won the year before. So that was already a pretty good achievement. And then the week after was just the Olympia, just went straight into the Asian Grand Prix in South Korea. Won that, qualified for the 2019 Olympia. So I had again a whole year. So I gained a lot of size back then in between those two shows. So when I was getting ready for Olympia 2019, Chris Aceto was telling me, what was your weight limit again? And I was like, it's 207. And I was around 230, and he said, yeah, it's the last time we did this, because
Wow.
you're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But we did again the Olympia, so went all the way down to 207. The following week, I decided to jump to my first open show and went to Italy again with Sean, and Laura Lee was competing then. She won the Bikini Pro, did a part of the show. I ended up 6th place then, but I had a good rebound. I got like 16 pounds back on.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, it's not real, it's not muscle, it's just fullness and like rebound.
Yeah.
That was fun. Then I was going to my off season 2020, then COVID hit. So for the first time I was going to push actually my legs, because I was only training my legs when I was prepping for shows before in classic, because they were pretty dominant. And but now I couldn't, because I didn't have access to a decent enough gym to push my legs. So it took a little while. Then I did the California Pro in Open. I got like 10th place or something like that with Patrick Moore. Hassan was there back then. He got 8th place also. Yeah, after that I was like, well, I need to do more work, so went back to the drawing boards. Then I moved to Chicago, put on more size. Did what show did I do then? Or did I do I forgot.
I know 2019 you did the Yamamoto Cup.
Yeah, then I did the California Pro, but that was in Vegas during COVID. And then after that, well, that was the Legion probably.
Legion Sports Festival 7th. Yeah,
that's what. So yeah, 2021 I did the Legion. That's when I started working with Patrick Tuor, and we got 7th place. But that was also a good 7th place for me, because it was, Sean Clarida won that show, Regan was 2nd, Sergio 3rd, Martin with Fitzwater was 4th, I believe. I mean, it was pretty stacked. I beat that show. I beat Cedric McMillan, Mike Charles, and already.
Yeah. That's saying something. So that's a good lineup.
And then 2021 Toronto Pro, you got 5th.
Yeah.
So, and then 2022 Legion Sports 4th. And then 2023 Orlando 3rd. So you're the next one.
I did the after the Legion last year. I did the Brazil, where I got 2nd place.
Right.
So like, and that's, people underestimate you, and because you're not the hugest pro out there, but you're in the top 5, like pretty much every show. You're right. So
I mean, I'm moving up slowly.
Your stock is rising. Yeah. So, well, thanks for the kind of the intro on your journey and how you got to where you are, because people don't realize sometimes, because they just find out who you are and then they start following you, but they don't realize like you've been in the game a long time. And I just
that was last weekend was my 30th pro show.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So you're a seasoned vet. You're a seasoned pro. You're not just some new guy coming up. No, you've been in the game a long time.
Yeah, I've been studying the game. I've been in touch with some of the best of our sport. Samir Banoods, of course, Sean.
Of course,
Mario also, drilled me a lot. Tom Platz. I mean, I've been lucky and fortunate to meet all these people. It's one of the reasons why I was very happy to live in LA, because I could really learn from everybody. Charles Glass, Will Harris, my first like I had a lot of people, and I'm like a sponge. I take it all, you know. Whoever Danny Hester helped me a lot too.
Of course.
But yeah,
Good.
so
Building a good foundation for yourself for the future successes type of thing. So that's phenomenal.
thank you. Yeah, definitely learned a lot of things that I'm putting, you know, to work now, and I've been putting to work the last few years. And one of the main things, just, you know, from Sean was like just always stay in your lane. You know, he was not the biggest guy. It was just, you know, madly aesthetic, and
yeah.
So he was pushing me to do open, and I was like, well, I'll never be the biggest guy either. So let's play, you know, the aesthetic thing and do that. So with Patrick, it was just a perfect combo because he believes in the same thing I do, and it's I've been blessed to be able to work with him for sure.
Awesome. So I kind of want to get into some of your stats. What did you currently weigh in at, you know, the Vancouver Pro and the Chicago Pro, Orlando Pro? What was your range?
So I was around like 235 every show.
235. Oh, okay. You look bigger. You actually look bigger than that.
Look bigger than what 235 is. So yeah.
Most people say I look small. So the first time I hear I look. Actually, people say I look bigger when they see me in person. Oh,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, always. But like otherwise, people tend to say I'm small.
No. And then your training, like what style of training do you have for your contest prep? Are you, you know, high volume, you know, higher reps per set, or are you lifted heavy, you know, 6 to 8 reps? Like what's your style?
So I've done a lot of different style, of course, training. I train with Psycho Fitness a lot, Charles Glass. So those were like more like, I would say in between, like intense, but like this still more volume than what I'm doing now. And I have a very fast metabolism. So with Patrick, he told me just do 2 sets, 2 effective sets, 1 heavy, 6 to 8, 1 backup set. And that's been working really well for me.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like to really control the reps. So I'm pretty, you know, slow, a lot of time on the tension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strict form. Okay. And for these competitions you've been doing back to back, like what's your macro breakdown, you know, carbs, protein, fats? Very interested to know, because you're getting billed for these shows. So a lot of guys want to know, like, what are you doing, man? Like what's the diet?
I don't know the exact numbers, to be honest, because I just Patrick sent me the diet and I just do it without putting anywhere. But I know about the carbs between Monday before Vancouver and Chicago. It was about 900 grams of carbs a day, every day. So we're pretty high on carb, medium protein, and low fat. Lower, but not complete. We still have like, you know, 10 grams of olive oil per meals, or a little bit of almond butter, or, you know, stuff like that. But it's mostly pretty high in carbs and protein and a little bit of fat.
Okay, so 900 grams of carbs per day, like just every day while you're doing these shows.
And that was my off-season diet, basically.
Wow.
I ate the whole, because with Patrick, he doesn't believe in cheat meals and stuff like that. So, I had 3 cheat meals since I'm with him. I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
I stopped even drinking soda. So
I'm guilty of that. The Frescas. The Frescas is my go-to.
I mean, it's nothing new. I just think like some sweeteners sometimes it can mess up your digestion.
Your stomach. Yeah. And cardio, because you're peeled. So are you doing a lot of cardio, or are you just naturally gifted and getting lean easily?
Well, I think the most we did was 45 minutes of cardio, 30 in the morning, 15 after my workout.
Okay.
But it's, you know, I think I really believe that you have to create the momentum when you get lean. It means like you want to be able to feed the workouts. You want to give the intensity in the gym, and then that's gonna have everything followed through. You know, like if you're reducing the carbs and then your intensity in the gym is bad, you're not going to be burning a lot, and then everything goes down, you know, downward, I believe. But if you actually feed your workouts, have enough carbs to have really good intensity in the gym, then I believe like everything just falls into place. I mean, everybody's different, of course. You're going to have to adjust everything, but I don't believe in starving yourself and your performance suffering. Then I don't think it's going to be a beneficial diet.
Well, and the proof is just how you come into condition every bloody show, and it's you know, these shows are back to back for you as of late. So I mean, what you're doing is clearly working for you.
Yeah, that's the only thing, is between Vancouver and Chicago was really quick turnaround with a lot of miles here, and I think I needed an extra week of, you know, good training to get more fullness in my legs and arms, especially.
Yeah, that's what I noticed from the Vancouver Pro to the Chicago. Vancouver Pro, I think that was your peak look. And then Chicago, you were probably same condition, but just a
Even
little.
more.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, like the condition. Again, I wasn't there, so I can't. You obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's just, yeah, conditioning was always spot on, but the fullness in the quads, like you said, could have been a little bit more. But I gave my recap on that show, and I said, hey, it should have been between either Stan or De La Rosa for that. Justin's a great guy. I'm not saying anything about his win, and congratulations on the win, man. I just think he just needs to dial it in a little bit more, get the crazy striations and the glutes and the hams and the lower back, and then I think it would have been well deserved. But
Yeah.
man, it was a weird judged show where they were putting you in the middle, and then they were putting De La Rosa in the middle, and they put Justin in the middle, and it's like, what's going on here?
But they give everybody a shot, and I mean, I
Yeah.
think the judges really argued, so they all had different opinion. I'm with you in the sense that I had to fight for every little things I ever win, like
Yeah.
every crumb. So, when I see Justin arriving as a rookie and getting the win without being like 100%. I mean, not me 100%, but I think he's got a beautiful shape.
Yeah.
I think he could be a little more dialed in, maybe like a couple more weeks, of prep.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see but maybe 2 more weeks and seeing him in Tampa, see how he peaks there. But I don't think he's going to be competing. There's no reason for him to do another show. But
No.
And John, I think was probably the most complete. Super thick, really good condition, especially after 4 years. But I had more condition because I had more mass, and Justin had more flow, maybe more. I don't know. We all had something different. We had all an argument I think, to win. The only thing for me with the hard is just that when I finished the final comparisons, the very last comparison, I was in the center when we went to the post down. So I thought, oh yeah, I got it. I thought they gave me the nod. So
right.
I thought, they just took it right after, just before I put in my mouth.
Yeah. The taste of it was on the tip of the tongue, right? And
yeah,
then they just
yeah.
snatched it from you.
I was.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but that's that always feeds me. Last year was the same thing after Brazil when I was second. I felt so close, so it just really drove me into my off season, and we made. I think every year we made more progress, because that's the thing too, was having a fast metabolism. As I get a little older, it slows down a little bit, and that's actually helping me put on more size.
Yeah. So are you shutting it down, or are you doing the Tampa?
No, we're shutting it down.
Shutting it down. Okay, officially shutting it down. So then that kind of leads me into, like, what's your plan of attack for next year? Do you have any shows in mind that the first show you want to hit, or are you just like not even thinking?
No, I have already. I always think forward.
Yeah.
But no, so like the thought process was just like, okay, we can't really be any better than what we are now. And coming up in the next few shows, we got really heavy heaters like Hunter, 100 Jack, So it's just gonna get tougher and tougher. And for me, it was really, I really want to make a point to make it the Olympiad this year, because it was the 5-year anniversary of Sean's title, and also actually the Olympia is on the weekend of his passing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And of course, for me, it was the last Olympia I went with him, was in Orlando too. So it was just like a full.
Everything was kind of falling into place.
Yeah. But like being realistic and trying to be smart about future. I think just keep pushing and doing shows. I don't think it's gonna be getting any easier, and it's gonna just postpone my progress, and maybe even like trying to hold this condition for too long. I have to do some work to get back to a healthier place. So I'd rather like shut it down early, and if I can get an invite for the Iron Classic, that would be a great show to go for me next year, because I got my card 10 years ago. I have 2014, so 2024 will be exactly 10 years ago. Physique and coming back 10 years later on the open stage will be pretty cool. So
And so then what's your plan of attack for the off season then? What areas are you focusing on?
So my arms, of course, one of the main thing was that they were I couldn't really contract my bicep for the longest time. I didn't even know it was like a fascia issue where my wrist extensor. So actually, if you look, so people are like, oh, you got one arm that's smaller than the other. My right forearm is a little bigger, which makes, comes it's right next to the bicep, you make it look a little smaller, but they're the same size. But it's because the forearm actually take off the load from the bicep and then the shoulder. So my bicep is just actually an accessory work in the bicep curls and stuff like that, until recently, where now I think we're getting to the bottom of it. So I'm excited to see how that progress during the off season. Of course, keep pushing the legs and the shoulders too now. Because before I was not really pushing my shoulders, because I didn't want my shoulders to be too big next to arms that, are already not
Right.
dominant.
Yeah.
But now that my arms should be progressing again, I'm going to be able to push my shoulder more. So I think I'm going to be able to make some good progress this off season.
Yeah, you're 5'10", right? Correct? At 235 on stage. So you can put on a good amount of muscle still with your height to fill out your frame even more. So like I was saying, there's tons of potential in you, and you have the formula down. Now you just need to add on the muscle and continue that formula, and you're gonna get your pro show wins coming up. I think next year you're there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gonna keep working, keep doing the things that have been working, and like I said, we're getting to we're fixing some issues. I have like 4 therapists that I work with, to keep everything loose and open. But we're getting into the bottom of some issues that have been a little bit hovering over the last few years. So I'm excited to see how my body is going to respond now. This should be fixed.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the bell notification so you get notified every time we release a new episode. We appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.